Hey, Star Wars action figure collectors, this is Darth Phoenix 619 coming at you with another video. And this time I have another comic book centered video, and I know that my last video was a haul mostly of comic books, and I'm doing another comic book video, so I hope you guys don't mind me doing that. But I know a lot of you collect comic books out there and are fans of Marvel, DC, and Dark Horse. So I was recently tagged and by the great maddwoba. If you don't know maddwoba, great guy here on YouTube. Very, very good friend. He did a recent comic book video on what's your favorite comic book cover. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, an entry to a contest that he was doing, and he tagged me, my first tag. He knows I love comic books, and he wanted to see what my favorites were, so I decided to do the vid. Was more than happy to. I have a lot of comics, not a huge ton of comics, but I was able to narrow down to about 20 or 30. Hopefully that's not too much, but I won't diddle-daddle too much on each of the books. So there was 3 questions, and the first one was, or not the first one, but one of the questions was, what's a book that you picked up solely on the cover, and then as soon as you opened it and read the story, you thought basically it was, super bad. And this is the one that came up to my mind as soon as I heard that question, and it's that of the Old Republic 33. Love the cover. I saw this like in a different comic book or in a magazine. I can't remember. Saw the issue one time, picked it up. I got it for real cheap. I don't know, probably like 50 cents. And I just disliked the story, just like the artwork inside. It wasn't the same as on the outside, and so yeah. It's a great looking cover. This guy looks fantastic. Some of my comic books where I really dislike the comic book art is. The comic book cover is this one, The Pact. It was an Image comic book. I picked it up because I was picking up a lot of Image #1s, and I don't know why I did. I just really dislike the artwork on that one. That's just one of my worst comic book covers in my collection. And this one, I saw this one, and it's X-Men #9, drawn by Jim Lee. You got Wolverine, and you got Ghost Rider. What could you not love? This, what looks like blush on his cheeks. It just stands out. It irks me. It bothers me. And it always has. And when I saw this, flipping through my books, I was like, I gotta include this as one of my least favorite covers. Alright, now on to the my favorite ones. And these are just for various reasons. Here's an Image book, Wildcats #7. Now, unlike maddwoba, who I know said he dislikes 90s comic book covers, I'm the complete opposite. I love 90s comic book covers, and the reason being so is that that's when I started collecting. I started collecting back in like 89, 90, collected for about 3 or 4 years. So most of my childhood was spent reading 90s comics, and I stopped for a long time and recently got into it about a couple of years ago. But so I really don't have very many comics that date from the 80s and before that. I don't think I've had any 60s or 70s comic books at all. Very few 80s. So most of my comic books will center around the 90s. So just great looking cover by Jim Lee, one of my favorite artists of all time. Here's another one. Really like this one because I was a big Ninja Turtles fan, and they did a crossover with Savage Dragon, and this is just a great looking cover. You got the classic TMNT here with the red bandanas, drawn by Eric Larson. Really, really good artist. And he's still doing Savage Dragon, I think, after all these years. Now on to some more Jim Lee 90s X-Men goodness. This one, I love this cover. You got Rogue, my favorite female superhero. She's all scantily clad there. Nick Fury with the cigar. Magneto just looking like he's king of the world right there. And Kazar, just an amazing cover. I was going to get this signed by Chris Claremont, but I decided to go with a different cover recently at Wizard World, and I showed this off in my haul video. I love this cover, and now that it's signed by the writer Chris Claremont, I like it even tons more. Another X-Men cover that I really like by Jim Lee. Here's Wolverine against Omega Red. I remember seeing this in comic book stores and thinking, wow, that's sick. That looks really cool. This one is by Will Portacio. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. And this is one of the very first comic books I ever picked up, and just, really fell in love with the X-Men and the X-Men universe. And there's Jean Grey, Storm, and Colossus. So, just a milestone issue there. Now on some Rob Liefeld, which some people don't like Rob Liefeld. I do. You know, he's controversial for, you know, doing the big guns, the big bodies, and the broad shoulders or whatever, but this is one of my favorite covers back in the day. I got Deadpool, Domino, and Shatterstar, so that's one that really stuck out. This one of my favorite covers. You know, back in the 90s, they did a lot of gimmick type covers. So they have the Silver Surfer 75th issue with the foil here, and you got all these different cosmic beings in the background. And I was able to get this signed by the artist Ron Lim, who's a local artist, and he did a lot of the Infinity Gauntlet, Silver Surfer, and a few other comic books back in the 90s. So I just love this cover, and to get it signed by the artist. A little more. What'd you want? A little bit more recent. This is Salvador LaRocca, another one of my favorite artists, and he just, I mean, Extreme X-Men #1, just very stylized, very modern 2000s cover. Probably my favorite artist at the moment, and you know, one of the third question besides the least favorites, your favorites. Who would you want if you had a blank cover? Who would you want to draw? Who would you want your cover to be drawn by? Words are just not coming out right now. And it would be Kenneth Rocafort. This guy just does some extreme art. I mean, I just love his art. I pick up books, basically anything that he's drawing, no matter what the story's like, I'll pick up, because I just love this guy's artwork. And Red Hood is actually one of my favorite current titles. He doesn't draw it anymore, unfortunately, but this is just my favorite cover that he did for the series. And he's just amazing in my opinion. Here's the one that he did for Superman, which I love. And there's Supergirl and Hell. And it's just, I just love his style. Very different. The way he does panels inside is awesome. Here's a recent comic book that I got. Just really like the artwork on here. This is by Michael Turner, who did a lot of Image books back in the days. He passed away a few years back. Was known for Fathom, which was an Image book. He does beautiful artwork. This one I like for many reasons. One, it's Jim Lee, and it's a more modern cover. You got Wonder Woman, you got Superman, and just the premise of the cover. You got Superman embracing Wonder Woman. They're going for that kiss. You got the lasso, the colors, just an amazing looking cover. I remember when I saw that on YouTube, I was like, oh, I gotta get that issue. Teen Titans was one of my favorite comic book series. Just picked my favorite cover from the entire 100-issue run from back in the late 2000s. And this is by L.A. Garza. Just great team pose here, and I think Blue Beetle looks the best there. You got Ravager, just some great comic book art there. And now on to Star Wars. So there's so many Star Wars titles that I had, so I just kind of narrowed it down to about 15 or so. Mara Jade, just really like the cover, just the way it's, the pose, which you got here, Mara Jade with the stormtroopers around her and the Emperor in the background. Just looks really cool. The artwork itself is cool. It's just, I just love the cover itself. Gotta have Boba Fett. Really like this one, realistic sort of painting. Got Fett Man, you got Bosk, Zuckuss, and not quite sure who that is. And just really cool looking cover. I've yet to read this series because I'm still waiting to complete it. Crimson Empire has some of the best covers in the Star Wars comics, and this is just one of my favorites. You know, you got Kurt Connors just on top of all these stormtroopers just going at it. Just kind of a painting, just, oh, I love it. It's beautiful. And they did something similar to this in a recent Crimson Empire comic book, but this one just outbeats that one. 10 million and one. Really famous cover, especially for those of you who are after the XR Coon comic pack with Oleg Drama. This is the comic book that you get, and I love this cover with the fire burning in the background. Very dramatic and just awesome. Here's the ones from Star Wars Republic. I just like the little battle scene here between Obo Rancisis and Sora Bulk. He's got the double-bladed lightsabers. He's got like 4 arms, so he's like scratching with these, and he's got the lightsaber. It's just really cool cover. And finally, almost finally, some Legacy comics. Some of the early ones had some poses with like 3 different characters, and I just really enjoyed those. This one, which I just got recently, I really like the Sith covers from Legacy. Those are some of my favorites. Talon and Nile, Warlock. You know, just Malady, Very, very nice. Probably my favorite cover of the entire series is this one right here. Just the, they're imposing Sith. Always wanted to recreate that with my figures, but unfortunately the articulation on the figures, especially Talon, doesn't really allow me to do that. And probably my favorite covers of all, like in any comic book in my collection, are the ones done by Joe Chen for the Invasion series, and these are a couple of my favorites. I just love the covers of these books. Literally my all-time favorites. Here's one, and here's probably one of my other favorite one right there, especially this guy. There's another one, but I could have brought out the whole collection, and it was just, I love this guy's artwork, and pretty sure it's the same guy for all 3 miniseries for Invasion. Just really like it. Unfortunately, he doesn't do the drawing inside, but the drawing inside by, I think it's Wilson, is actually pretty good too. So there you guys have it. Hope this video hasn't dragged on too long. Thanks again to maddwoba for giving me the opportunity to do this. I would tag somebody, but feel free to do a video response to this. PM me or maddwoba. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, something a bit different. And until next time, may the Force be with you. One more thing, guys, that I want to share with you guys. I actually got this comic book from maddwoba. He gave this to me a couple months back, along with some very cool items for my daughter from the fire department which he serves. And this is actually my oldest comic, believe it or not. It's from 1975, and it's just a really striking cover. So it looks really cool. I know you really appreciate the vintage stuff, maddwoba. So I just wanted to mention that and thank you once again for this very cool comic. I'm afraid to even read it because it looks so good. It's pretty mint. So thanks again, maddwoba. Alright, you guys. May the Force be with you for real this time. Bye.